Hey y'all, Shell Brodnax here with Real Estate Staging Association and another episode of Stager Talk. Can I get somebody out there that's listening and watching to just type in the chat box that you, number one, see me, and number two, hear me tripping over my words. That would help me test our technology, and I would so appreciate it. And anybody feel free just to type in that box. Don't be shy, and then I can get on and introduce our special guest today. Thank you, Felicia. I appreciate that. So I'm so excited today. We are another episode of Stager Talk, where we're going to talk about with some influencers today who happen to be speakers at our upcoming RESACon event. So first of all, I want to welcome Shay Kent. Shay's from the Denver, Colorado area. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
So excited to be here.
And Anthea and Cory Click from Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
I'm so glad you are all with us today. We're going to talk about a few things today about RESACon, about their sessions at RESACon, maybe a little bit about COVID-19. We were chatting before we started about how it's affecting everybody. The good news is we are going to have a COVID-19 panel at RESACon. It's a virtual event this year. If you haven't heard, go to 2020.resaconvention.com and get all the details. It's very affordable, and you get, if you do the VIP experience, you're a RESA member, you're going to get this year's sessions along with all of last year's recorded sessions as well. So it is really a no-brainer. So Shay, my friend, let me start with you. So first, I want everybody to know that not only you are a stager, but you have also started coaching with stagers, correct? How's that going?
That is correct. It's going great. So I don't focus on how you become a stager. I focus on already established stagers and scaling their business through online marketing, being able to really reach your ideal clients and bring in more clients to you without being too salesy.
Awesome. I love it. So that's incredible. So many people, once they get their core foundation training, which we are all in favor of everybody getting training because you don't know what you don't know. After you've done that, if you're needing some onboarding, you're needing assistance, that's where a great business coach comes into play. So can you tell everybody what the title of your session is at RESACon and just a little bit about what you're going to be talking about?
Definitely. So the title of my session is the 6 steps to creating a 6-figure staging company. And we're going to be talking about online marketing specifically. And I'm going to be walking through the steps that you need to be taking in order to be getting your brand out there, get recognized as the leader in your market, and start to have customers finding you and coming to you rather than going out and driving all over the place and dropping off flyers and spending a lot of time doing that. And, you know, in my session as well, I don't want it to just be a speech that I give. We're actually going to be doing a lot of doing as well. So you're going to leave the session with a plan for the next 30 days of marketing for your specific company as well. And you're going to get a copy of my blueprint. If I can show that, there we go. You're going to get a copy of this, and you're going to get a workbook, and you're going to come out of there with a plan. So that is my ultimate goal for my session, that you are well informed and that you come out of there ready to roll.
I love it. Absolutely love it. I've always been a fan of when you're doing your marketing. They're always kind of always revert everything back to like hunting, fishing, sports, or horses. And it's like you've got different ways to be able to market. There are people that like to go out like a hunter and you stalk them down, you slay them, and you reel them in. And there's other people that's like, you know what? Let me put some bait out here. Let me fish for a little bit. I'm a little bit more relaxed about it. Let's just put some really good bait and get somebody to bite on it. And they're two very valuable strategies. Not one is any better than the other a lot of the time. So I like positioning it that way. I love it. So Anthea and Cory, whoever wants to take this first, tell everybody about your topic and a little bit about what you're going to be talking about.
We are going to be talking about family matters. We're going to get personal, and we are going to talk about how do you build a business with family, whether it's a spouse or whether it is a sibling or a parent or a child. When you have that, there's all of a sudden new dynamics that come into play, and family businesses have unique challenges. And so we're going to be talking about those challenges and how do you overcome that? How do you separate family from business? Because a lot of times the lines can really be blurred. And so we want to help people set themselves up with a great business, but yet also maintain great personal relationships.
Oh my God, I love that. And I really need it because working with my family member is kind of like this. It's off your glasses on upside down and nothing makes any sense. And I actually just want to smother him with a pillow. So I'll tell you a quick story. Way back when, 2006, 2007, end of 2006, early 2007, before I started RESA, I had a staging business. So I went out, started a business, bought a truck, did everything. First 90 days, I had so much business, I did not know what to do with it all. And anybody that has ever heard me speak or knows me understands that, you know, staging's right brain, left brain. And while I can go out and stage a home, the actual physical act of staging is not something that I wake up in the morning and going, oh, I cannot wait to pick out some travertine tile and hang some artwork. And oh, I'm going to move a sofa today. I'm so excited. Does not excite me. The business end of it does. So what ended up happening was I couldn't find a business partner to go out and do the staging while I did the sales and the marketing and the building of the business. And so I partnered with my now husband. It was my fiance at the time. And he would go out and stage with me. And it was just two polar opposite ends of every single thing under the planet. I literally fantasized about smothering him with a pillow. And so finally I said, forget it, you're fired. I had to fire him. And then I ended up closing down the business and starting doing business coaching, and then ended up, you know, getting with RESA and building that particular organization. So I'm super excited about your session because I always like to learn new things because apparently I didn't learn enough from the last time. So when we moved to North Carolina, we started a horse stable business, and now he's involved in that too. So I'd like not to fire. I don't want to fire him this time.
Well, Cory and I are total opposites when we work. So like when we were staging, he likes to go in and do one room and be done with the room. I, on the other hand, I love to be inspired, and I am all over the place. And so he'd be like hanging a piece of art and saying, "Is this the right place?" And next thing, and then he'd turn around and he'd find me in another room because I got pulled somewhere else, and just I got the inspiration hit me.
Right.
So we had to figure out how do we work with that so I don't frustrate the tar out of him, because I am so frustrating because it's a different style of work, and he frustrates the tar out of me because I'm like, how can you not just be creative like that? I don't want to just be pegged into this one room and finish this room. I don't think like that. So we had to figure that part out, and it's been fun.
And that's after the marriage was tested, bringing the sofa in the house first. There's nothing that'll test your marriage like working on a project together, putting a bed together, or carrying a sofa up the narrow stairs. So we've had to learn how to become very efficient with each other.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Try putting horse fencing up with the spouse, because it's a real good time. People are going to love it.
Yeah. Well, and then it's the switching roles when we come home also, and trying to be parents and, not bringing things from the office home or home to the office. So
I can't even imagine. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love him clearly, but yes, there are times where it's like you want that we are total polar opposites as well. So like for me, I'm a builder, I'm an expander. So it's like I get one idea and then I'm like, oh, and then we can do this and we can do this. And I'm writing it down and then his head's exploded and he can't even get over, wait a minute, we didn't even finish this project and you're talking about another one. And I'm like, well, duh, that's the way it's done. And it's like, he can't wrap the brain around it. Anthea, I'm like you, where it's like you want to be inspired. So even in everything it is that I do, if I'm moving from one room to another, I would stage the same way that you do. And I do it in efficiency. So as I'm carrying something to one room, I'd be carrying whatever's in between that room and me. I'm going to carry that stuff too. And you drop it off on the way and then you circle back and you have your systems for doing it. So I'm super excited about it because it can be tough. And I do know a trend I've definitely seen. It wasn't in the early 2000s when I got into the industry. I definitely did not see a lot of families working together. That's changed.
Drastically. I noticed that last year when there were so many more men in the room. How awesome is that?
Totally
and then
awesome.
I'm seeing we've got partnerships going on. I see mothers and daughters a lot working together, sisters, best friends.
Yes.
So when you all of a sudden start to throw business into the mix of the relationship, things change.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with that? So that's what we're going to talk about.
That's awesome. I love
it. We're far from perfect, let me just tell you. Not every day is roses and sunshine.
Some of us are further from perfect.
Right? But we've just figured out things that work for us, and so we want to just share that with you because it can be really challenging, and by adding in those kind of dynamics, then it can start to change personal relationship. Yeah. And that's where you don't want that to happen. You don't want stuff to bleed into it, and you don't want what happened at work today to affect what happens when you come home tonight.
Yeah, and it's rough.
There's nothing more gratifying though when you both work together and you accomplish what it is you set out to do, and then throwing all the other. I mean, we're not just making business decisions; we're making our family decisions that intertwine with all of that. And when we see all of that starting to come together, it's really exciting when we know that how much further we can go if we're pulling the same direction.
Absolutely.
And learning to do that has been.
So
some days have been harder than others.
Yeah, for sure. So let's ask everybody that's watching, how many of you are in a staging business with a family member, or are you thinking about bringing one on or thinking about getting into business with a family member? Go ahead and type it in the chat box. Going to be interested to see that. And Jay, as far as your coaching goes, are you seeing more of this? Have you had an experience with?
Can't say that I am. Of course, we don't particularly talk about that sort of thing. I don't know. I mean, I know that I bring in my mom occasionally to help as well.
There you go.
And going from that mother-daughter where, she was the mom all my life and told me what to do, and then all of a sudden I'm telling her what to do, and she's looking at me like, what are you telling me what to do for? And it's like, so yeah, I'm very, very interested to see how you walk that fine line there. It's like that awesome. Overstepping,
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we've got several people that are commenting here that yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Lots of people doing it. So this is great. Like I said, I love seeing new trends in the industry. So it really goes to show how much we've all grown in the industry. Now, Shay, when you talk about marketing and positioning yourself differently than others, can you share one or two things that you might be helping people to learn about with your session with regard to that aspect?
Sure. So that really comes down to one thing is like really, what is it that you want to be known for? And then crafting your message around that and around how that thing helps your clients. And so we're going to really deep dive into ways of saying that without sounding salesy. And it's going to be more of like creating kind of your brand story, your origin story is what I call it, because people still do business with people. And so you got to be seen, be visible. A little vulnerability comes with that too when you start putting yourself out there in the market. And really how to just craft that message in an enticing way that's going to be bringing people in when they actually hear it, rather than just saying, yeah, I'm a stager and I help people sell your home for more money. Yes, we all do that. However, that's what kind of like everybody is saying. And so how are you going to differentiate yourself with that quick little snippet and start bringing people into you and be known for something specific? So we'll get into that.
Awesome. I love that. I love to be able to show people different ways to market. I know that every time I have a new member call us or a new stager call in and want to get some feedback, they're very pigeonholed into your standard. It's like your standard top kind of things. Let's call a real estate agent and ask them to go to coffee. And then I always tell them, they don't want to go with you. They get hit up by everybody in the planet. Don't do that. And then they say, so everything they say they've done, I'm like, don't do it. Don't do that. Got to do something different. But you have to think outside the box, because that typical way of, hey, let me pick your brain, or let me show you how I can help you sell more houses, for more money and less time on the market. They literally, an agent gets hit by every single type of vendor and service provider that's out there, especially the new ones. There's actually companies that will buy databases of newly licensed real estate agents. So just like when you go get a website domain somewhere, if you don't put the privacy on it, that information gets scraped up and sold and recycled, and you get hit with all these offers every time you build a new website domain.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah, definitely get that privacy protection for sure.
Yeah.
But yes, exactly. And that's exactly, that's kind of what I dubbed the old way is going and buying everybody bagels and driving from brokerage to brokerage and taking everybody to coffee. There is an element of that does still work.
For sure.
However, with your online marketing, it's more about casting that broader net and reeling in the fishes, because they have all of a sudden, they're seeing you, they're recognizing your branding and what your messaging is. They're intrigued, you're giving them really good value, and you're bringing them in to want to actually work with you, and they'll call and want to get to know you. So that way works a lot. It's like the reverse way of doing things.
Yeah, for sure. And what I like too is that I like the combination. You've always got to, you can't just do linear marketing. You've got to do those combos and pair up with many different things. So for me, I'm always about networking volunteerism. Join a RESA chapter, get involved, join a local association chapter, join a women's council of realtors. Love WCR. Check them out if you haven't. I highly recommend them. It's how RESA was patterned after because of my amazing experiences serving on boards of directors at WCRs, which is why we have RESA today. But it's so important to be able to get yourself out there. But if you take, like what you said, what's unique about you, and you expand on your story and you make that your brand, when you show up at these places, you get that brand recognition.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's also called mindshare. You are a fan of David Greenspan up in Canada. He talks about mindshare. It's just something that's similar. Is when you get out there and you get your networking and you volunteer in places or serve on a committee, something along those lines, or just going to those meetings along with everything else that you bring to the table. That's the best way to be able to expand your brand and to get people to notice you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Out there. So
get out there and be consistent is the other thing.
Consistent. Oh yes, that's the other thing. I know somebody years ago who I said, you've got to get involved, go to the women's council. And she's like, I went, didn't work for me. I said, you've got to be, I was floored. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. What do you mean? How could that not work? And I'm like, how many times did you go? And she said, twice. I'm like,
yeah, not enough.
More effort's necessary, right?
Get a little bit more effort there, sweetheart. It's called infiltration, not a popover. You need to infiltrate and stay, not just pop over and say hi, bye, call me when you need me, type of a thing. So we've got a few minutes left, about 10 minutes left to go. So if anybody has any questions, we are open to having questions for any of our guests. So please go ahead and post them in the chat box. And also have an announcement to make. We have a giveaway going on. So go to the RESA Facebook page and check that out. And there's a nice giveaway or contest that we're doing. So we'd like to see you get involved with that. Anything else that you, Cory or Anthea, would like to add to what we're talking about right now for RESACon coming up? I know you've spoken at RESACon in the past.
Yeah, I encourage everybody to go. I mean, it's grown so much, and especially as a husband and a partner, a male in this industry, to see it's growing the way that it is. We've come away with so many things that we bring back and implement in our business, and just try to give those a go. But I just kind of sad we're not getting to go out to Vegas this year, but still.
I'm missing my end resort, Shell.
I know. I will tell you something that I personally, Servant knows, fought believing in COVID for as long as I possibly could. Try to prevent cancellation of RESACon. And literally I went over a 4-day weekend. I went from let's watch it until May to going, oh my God, did you hear we have germs? We got to cancel. The sky is falling and we've got to react. And it was literally over 4 days where everything just tipped for us. So we really did everything we could not to do it, but there was no way to be able to keep it going. Number one, not knowing if Nevada was going to open up again and shut down and then open up and then be able to sell enough tickets to meet our contractual obligations. So fortunately, I had an amazing staff. RESA HQ team members are absolutely flawless, and they have come to the occasion along with the RESA board of directors. We've all worked really hard to get this turned into a virtual event. We're still having a lot of snags, that we're fixing as we go, but they're getting fixed, and I think it's going to be a great event. It's the same content. The good news is no flights, no risk of COVID, no hotels, which is, a drag when you're in Vegas. And unfortunately, we don't have the same quite networking in person, but we're going to give a little bit of the same field to the best of our ability through some networking events during RESACon as well. So we're excited to be able to at least do that. It's not the full experience, but we know that the same topics being taught are going to be huge for everybody, because right now I know that home sales are starting to climb and people are getting back to work, even though some states are rising in their COVID-19 cases. We do believe, everybody that I've talked to, all the real estate experts and economics majors and specialists out there, they are saying that it's going to boom. So we want to be ready for it. So at least we're able to get you some really solid education. So when we are bouncing back, you will be ready to go. When is the deadline to sign up for RESACon? I would say a couple days beforehand. I don't know that we have a solid date. If we do, Felicia can post it in the chat box. It is online, so you're not going to have to worry about, like we said, traveling. So we can be a little bit more flexible with letting people be able to sign up, a couple days in advance, I'm sure. If it's not on the website, we will get it up on the website by tomorrow. So again, any other questions that you want to ask, please type them in the chat box. And any last words before we wrap up? Shay, I'll kick it to you.
Yeah, so this year with the VIP experience, you're doing the extra questions at the end, a full hour long, correct?
Yes.
So I also want to let people know that if they go ahead and sign up for the VIP experience for my Q&A session, I'm going to give you a bonus training on confidence building, because that's one of the major pain points I see with working with my clients as to what's holding them back. And so don't worry, it's not going to be overwhelming, but it will be fun and good. And Shell has disappeared. Oh, there she is.
Carry the show.
So excited she went to register right now.
Get in there. So I'm super excited for that too.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And the clicks, what do you have to say? Any last words?
Well, first off, I want to thank you, Shell, because I really feel like RESACon every year has gotten better and better. Like the meat and potatoes is really what we go for. And, our industry has grown so much. I think we kind of started out fluff. And now we have really gotten wow, this is really a really awesome, viable industry that's growing, and it's a real industry. And for you to be able to bring us the information that we need, we have such a unique business, and we're so different than any other kind of industry that we really need guidance in how do we build our businesses. And I'm very grateful for the speakers that you bring on and for the information that they give us, because I felt so powerful when I walked out of RESACon last year. I had a laundry list of to-dos, of things, and of course, I hadn't even gotten to half of them. But the fact that I've got them, and I can always go back to all of my notes and look for ways that I can improve my business, it's just so invaluable. I've even gone back 2 and 3 years of notes that I have found have been so impactful. So thank you for bringing this to the stagers, and we appreciate it so much.
It's always golden nuggets we get, and our team is always they know that we don't call them changes, we call them improvements. Mm-hmm. So when we come back from RESACon, they know improvements are about to happen in our business, and so it's good. It's a good thing.
I'm going to use that. We are not changing, we are improving. I love that.
Everybody wants to improve. Nobody wants change.
Yes. It'll even go well when I say it. It will feel a lot better saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Much more positive.
And as Bobby McGrath says, we're just reshaping.
We're reshaping.
Same thing. We're just reshaping.
And you talked about the positive, and that's something that we're going to talk about. It's just how we edify each other. How do we get through disagreements? How do we keep everything positive, as positive as we can?
But it's not always fun,
yeah.
And it's ugly and dirty, because that's business. That's reality. We live in the staging industry of all smoke and mirrors, and it's all beautiful. Well, you know what? Or the Instagram look. Get behind Instagram, and here's the dirty reality of it. We're going to bare our souls. I'm probably going to so embarrass myself, but you know what? It's okay, because if somebody learns something from it and can avoid some of the mistakes that we made, it is so worth it.
Yeah, for sure. I love the Instagram moments. It's funny, in the horse world, we have the same thing. It's like, hey, living the glam life while you're covered in head to toe, or you've just been tossed off a horse and you're in the dirt. And you've got dirt all over your face. It's like, yeah, I'm loving life. Get horses, they said. It's like, have a staging business. How glamorous it is to work with the colors and the textures and creating beauty, and then, you know.
And it's so much fun.
So much fun.
Remind me again why we started our own business.
Why did we do this? I know, right? All right.
Covered with sweat and dying of heat. And why is there no AC in this vacant home? And
yeah, for sure. It is a lot of work. I really hand it to stagers because, like I said earlier, the actual function of staging is I love looking at the homes and whatnot. Like I said, I can do it. I can go in and make it happen, but the business end of it is just much more exciting. So I have a huge respect for anybody that can go in and make a room look amazing, and the amount of work that it takes. It is hard work. And I get a lot of new stagers that come in, new people interested in the industry that will actually call before they want to get in the industry. And they say, well, who moves all the furniture? And I'm like, well, you do, unless you're going to hire people. And they're like, oh, I had no ideas. You know, they really kind of don't put that together. So it is hard work, really hard work.
I will say, just to dovetail off of that, I've actually had an agent show up to a vacant property that we were staging. And he said to me, I had no idea how all the furniture got here. Like, it's like, hello, like, you know, your goodness, like, it's just a magical thing. It just happens. It just like really blew his mind when he walked in and saw that, like, there's work involved.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I don't get it.
I've got a Samantha Stevens course that I'd like to sell him too. So like, what do you think? We're just going to wiggle our noses and it all happens. So
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, lots of work. Massive kudos to everybody who does it, because real estate just wouldn't sell as well without you. So again, thank you all for joining us. My guests, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate you and all the speakers. So please do check out 2020.resaconvention.com. Check out all the other speakers, as well as you can learn more about Cory and Anthea's session, as well as Shay's as well, and everybody else's. So until next time, happy staging, stay safe, and we will see you at virtual RESACon in July. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.